Hey Stampers, it's Madeline from the wonderlandstamper.com. Today we are going to use an amazing set from the Sale-a-bration catalog, which is ending at the end of March. So I want to do some of these stamp sets to focus on them so that you can see what you can do with them and get your hands on them, because after March 31st they will not be available at all. So you want to get your hands on them so that you don't miss them. So this one is Happy Wishes. You get it if you spend $100. You get this whole thing for free. It's an amazing stamp set. It's huge, as you can see, and it's so versatile that you can make tons and tons of cards with it for years to come. So I am going to show you two different cards that you can make with this set. Again, there are thousands of ideas that you could do. And on 32nd Thursday, this Thursday, I'll have another card that I'm demonstrating using this set, so don't miss that. And just a reminder, I do have a competition going on right now over on my last Stampin' Sunday, so it's my Paper Pumpkin Stampin' Sunday. You could win the entire March free gift Paper Pumpkins kit that is the 5-year celebration. So Paper Pumpkin's giving away a special box with a free gift, and you can get it totally for free if you go and watch that video, hear the secret question, and answer the secret question down below. So let me show you what my inspiration was for this Stampin' Sunday. During my swap that I host every single new catalog, if you're a demonstrator and you're interested, please leave me a comment or send me an email and I'll add you to the list. We'll be doing one for the new annual catalog about mid-April. This I loved. As soon as I opened this, I loved the paper in the background matching with the embossing on the front. Embossing powder is one of my favorite things. I love the magic that happens, and it's actually one of the things that made me fall in love with Stampin' Up so quickly. So this was one of my swap cards by Sherry Shintz. I'm sorry, I'm probably not pronouncing your last name right. She is one of the demonstrators that participated in my swap. She made gorgeous cards, and this was a fan favorite at my team meeting. Everyone was in love with this card and fighting over it to get pictures of it. So this is what inspired me to do this week's card. So let me show you what we'll be making with this awesome set. Here is the first one. I love the Myths and Magic Specialty Designer Series paper, and so I wanted to make a card with it. I'm a little disappointed because the mermaids you don't really get to see as much because I have this in the center, but I still love it. You get the little mermaids popping out, and I love the colors that are with this Designer Series paper. This Designer Series paper pack matches with so many different colors. It's unbelievable. The list goes on and on when you look at the back. Here's the other card that we'll be making today, and I love this one. This is probably my favorite out of the two of them. The colors on there, Berry Burst and Fresh Fig, are gorgeous. So we are going to start with this card. I'm going to tell you everything that you need to make this card, and over on my blog down below you can click over the wonderlandstamper.com. I'll have all the dimensions and all the supplies that I've used, because a lot of the supplies I have pre-made for the video just to make it go quicker. So I'll have all my supplies over there on my blog, so make sure to check it out. Okay, so we are using Bermuda Bay and Lemon Lime Twist. I love them together. I've seen a lot of work done with them over on Facebook, and they look adorable together. So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I have a piece of Designer Series paper with the cute little mermaids and even the little seahorses match. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And then I use the layering circles, the largest cloud shape in Bermuda Bay, and then I use the stitched shapes framelets in Lemon Lime Twist and did the large circle. The stitched shapes is one of my favorite framelit sets because there is so much that you can do, and I use it almost every card, I'm sure, as you've noticed. We'll also use this ribbon Let's make sure. Mini striped ribbon. This is in Lemon Lime Twist, so that matches perfectly, and I love adding ribbon on. And we'll be using embossing powder. So if you've never used embossing powder, this will be a good tutorial for you to watch. It's very simple, really a fun thing to do because you see the magic happening. I was disappointed with how the markers turned out over here. If you see this original card, she did such a good job filling in the colors, and I'm wondering if it's blends or watercolor pencils. I did it on the first card and it looked good. I like the little flowers with the greenery. But on this card, I'm disappointed in it. So I'm not going to be coloring over here, but if you want to, feel free, but I like it without it. So we're gonna get started. First things first, I'm going to get this all set up to go so that it's ready for us. So you're going to take a piece of this ribbon and just cut it down. You want enough so that you can tuck it behind this designer series paper. I want to just tell you a few things before I forget. This is new for me. It is the We Are Memory Keepers glass. I forget the exact name of it, but I'll have the link down below, my affiliate link over to Amazon. This is one of my favorites. My best friend recommended it and I got it. And one of the reasons that I'm telling you again about it is that I used it with the embossing heat gun, and it's amazing because it doesn't change the shape of it. The mat I have below this, which is a very popular mat that people use, it melts it right away. It folds it like totally in half. And I was using a bread pan to heat my paper when I did embossing. This makes it so I can heat right on it with no issues. I can wipe it right off. Everything that gets on here wipes right off. It doesn't stain anything. This is amazing, and it's under $20, and it's huge. It's 13 by 13. I'm a little obsessed with it. So I'll have the link down below if you want to check it out. And also, what was the other thing I want to tell you about? Oh, my adhesive gun. So what I just did was I put the Lemon Lime Twist mini ribbon on here, and I used my tape gun. So this is my favorite adhesive. It's the Scotch Advanced Tape Glider, very inexpensive. The refills for it are very inexpensive. I buy them in huge quantities, and it's like, it lasts me, I think I checked, it lasts me like 8 months for the refills that I bought, and it was only $40 for the refills. So really good quality and awesome, easy to buy. So I'll have that link down below too over on my Amazon affiliate links. So make sure to check it out. Okay, so I've attached the ribbon and put it on the back a little bit. Now I'm going to attach this down on that Bermuda Bay just to have the card base all done and set aside so that we're ready to go with the stamping. And I love these mermaids. You could just leave it like this. This paper is just stunning. I feel like Stampin' Up gets better and better with their paper. It's a little cockeyed, so that's going to bother me. Hang on, let me get this centered. There we go. So there are our mermaids. So that is all set. We can set it aside. We're going to do the bow at the end. So I'm going to put this aside just so I don't get anything on it. We are going to start working on embossing now. So I'm going to tell you from first step all the way to the end what you're going to need and what you're going to need to do with this. This is an embossing buddy. We're going to use this for the first step. This gets all the oils and dust off of your paper. It makes a huge difference. Try not to touch your paper except for like a fingernail on the edge after you've done this. Okay, so we're getting it nice and clean here. There we go. All right, so that was the embossing buddy. Now you're going to need a special kind of ink. This is Versamark, and this is available right on my 24/7 online store. I'll have the, if you go over to my blog, you'll see the whole table of all the Stampin' Up supplies that I've used. This is one of them. This is just a wet sticky ink. So let's get that here so it doesn't look like anything. And I have the best on a clear mount here. Okay, so we're going to get that nice and inked. And again, it's very sticky, so you'll only see like a water residue left on here. But again, being very careful that we're not touching it. Okay, so you might be able to see it. It's just like a wet watermark on there. And then we're going to do the friends. So this is just like a cute best friends card that you might give. And I'm going to do it down below here. There we go. Okay, so our stamping is done on that. So let's close this up. The Versamark dries out very quickly. So make sure you close it up and store it upside down. I am now going to use the Stamping Emboss powder. It's the silver one, so they have lots of different colors that you can get. Copper, clear, white, lots of fun options. I poured it into this Tupperware just so it's easier for me to get onto my circle here. I'm just going to move it around, shake off all the extra, and then I'm going to flick it on the back, and that is going to just get off the extra that I don't want. Okay, so there we go. That's how it should look. If you want to put more powder on it, you could keep going, but usually the first time you do it, that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to take my bone folder, hold this down. I'm going to hold it from the back just so that you can see the magic that happens here. I'm going to use my heat tool, so I'll have this on I'll put the Amazon affiliate link for this exact heat tool. I'll also have it on my Stampin' Up supply list, so it's up to you whichever one you like. The Stampin' Up one is actually better because you have a milder heat option. This is just on and off. So I bought this before Stampin' Up, so I would recommend the Stampin' Up one just because you have that option. There's some crafts that I want to be able to do and the heat gun is just too hot, like Shrinky Dinks. It folds into each other, it melts together, it's really frustrating. I wish I had that milder, lower setting. But I'll put the link for either one of these and watch the magic that happens now. All right, there we go. So isn't that gorgeous? I love the embossing. It's very magical. Okay, so we want to let that dry for a second just because it is pretty wet. So be very careful with it. I am going to put some adhesive on here and just move this so that we can start with the next step. The paper does fold a little bit due to the heat. Just be careful not to touch the embossing powder because it is wet. And it dries pretty quickly. Okay, there we go. So again, I'm not going to be coloring this. So here is the card base, and we're going to be doing Stampin' Dimensionals on this. So I have a sheet of mini dimensionals here, and I'm just going to set them around in a circle here. This will give it that 3D look that we want. So again, this stamp set is if you spend $100 on my online store, you get this stamp set for free, which is unbelievable. There's so many different stamps in there and different ideas, and it'll definitely be one that stays in my collection. I love it. And they have things that you can get for every $50. You can get something for free. They have a few new items that they just added, and I'll have all that info over on my blog so that you can check out the items that are available. And it's only till the end of March, so it's coming to an end. This is my favorite time of the year, all the free stuff, but it is coming to an end. So make sure that if you have anything you want, now's the time to stock up on those supplies. Okay, now I'm going to put the bow on here. So I'm going to leave it on the spool. This is what I do. I leave the ribbon on the spool because I always end up tying a better bow. It's like less stressful for me because I know I have enough ribbon to tie it. I'm not, you know, futzing around trying to get a smaller size ribbon to work. All right, so there is our bow, and then cut it. Here's another scissors. These are my favorite scissors, Tim Holtz. I got that at Hobby Lobby, but I'll put the link down below for Amazon too. Favorite. It's taken me a long time to find scissors that I like, and those are definitely my favorite. I'm putting 3 mini dimensionals back here on the ribbon to give it a little bit of a 3D look. So just make sure they're stuck down really well. And then get that paper off. And we're going to stick it right down here. And there we go. There's our first finished card using this gorgeous stamp set, Happy Wishes, and using, I didn't color again, so just a reminder of that. You can if you'd like. It's totally up to you. Again, all the supplies for that will be over on my shop, and some of the products that I just talked about are down beneath with my Amazon affiliate link. So there's our first one, and now we're going to move into the second one. Okay, here is our second one, and this is my favorite out of the two. I love these colors. It's a really fun and easy card to make. So we're going to be using Berry Burst 5 1/4 or 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. I'm using a piece from that Miss and Magic Specialty Designer Series paper pack. This is the shiny side that has the really nice embossed items on it. Matches well with our embossing we're doing. I use the layering ovals with Berry Burst to get that oval. And then same thing, the layering ovals in Whisper White, because I really wanted this to pop. And there is some white in the Designer Series paper back here, so I thought it matched really well. We're also using a gorgeous ribbon. This is the metallic edged ribbon in Berry Burst, so it matches perfectly. So very similar to our first card. We're going to take the Designer Series paper that we have here, and we're going to cut enough so that we can, again, tuck the ribbon behind. And I'm going to use that tape gun I showed you, my favorite tape gun. I used a lot of different adhesives before I found this, and I'm telling you, it is amazing. I bring it everywhere that I need to craft. The supplies are really inexpensive for it. All right, I'm going to put this right in the center, and then I'm going to tuck behind here, okay, so that it's ready to go, just like that. Then I'm going to take the Berry Burst, and I'm going to put adhesive on these ribbons again, just as an extra precaution, and then attach it down. Center it right on there, and there we go. Okay, so now we're going to set this aside, and we're going to start working on this piece of white. So again, we're doing the embossing again, so you want to get out your embossing buddy and just get this nice and clean, just so it doesn't have any of your oils on it from your fingers or any dust or anything. We're going to get the Versamark out, and this is a much bigger stamp. This is the Happy. So I used the largest cloud that worked with this, just so it would get all of this gorgeous design in there. Getting it nice and inked, picking up and down just to make sure it's not smudging. Okay, get it to fit on this oval. You might lose some of it, but that's okay. We're going to press for 3 seconds, lift up. Again, you're only going to see a watermark, so don't worry about that. It is there. And then we're going to take the birthday stamp, and you have to look at an angle just to make sure that you're not covering up anything. Okay, and you see I almost just touched the edge and messed up the flower, so just be very careful. Okay, we're going to close up that Versamark again. Bring out our embossing powder that I have dumped into a Tupperware here. Be very careful picking this up and then just dusting this all over your white piece there. So see, it has some extra on it. I didn't get all the H. The Tupperware is really nice because it keeps all the scraps off your work table. All right, I don't like how that birthday turned out, so just, you can go again with it. Okay, there we go. There is some excess that you can be very careful to kind of smudge away. All right, and now I am going to hold it with a bone folder and use the heat tool again, okay? And there we are. I just love the way that it looks. Okay, so we're going to give it a second to dry, and then we're going to be using a sponge dauber with Fresh Fig ink pad just to give it that little bit of an edge around the sides. Just make it pop more. All right, so I have a dauber here, and I'm just going to lightly stroke the edges here, being careful not to smudge your embossing powder until it dries. So you might have to wait a few seconds before you do this. I'm not going heavy on this. I'm just very lightly holding it up and then, you know, stroking down right on the edges. I just want that little extra bit of color. And it's so funny, but the way that you hold this dauber, you can get things to look so different. So it's totally up to you the way that you want this to look, but I really just want the edges. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm going to use Stampin' Blends to color in some of the flowers here. So I am using the dark Old Olive and the dark Rich Razzleberry, and I am a big fan of the blends. I love them. This is not much thinking going into it. I'm just coloring in the flowers that I see. And then you could take a tissue over it if you want to. Anything that's drawn onto the silver parts will wipe right away. So that's why it's nice to use like clear embossing powder, because then you get this really cool look if you sponge over it. You really got to look in detail to see where the flowers are. Okay. And then I'm going to use the old olive here just to accentuate the leaves. I like how it just gives that pop of color. Okay. Now we're going to just attach this onto the berry burst circle with adhesive. And we're going to be using dimensionals to put this onto our card. So we have our card here. I'm going to use those mini dimensionals again and just put them all around the oval outside here. You could use big dimensionals if you want. Mini is just what I have on hand right now. So I'd love to hear down below if you've been participating in Sale-a-bration and what is your favorite Sale-a-bration stamp set that you've played with. And if you're able to put a photo, I'd love to see what you've made. But please comment below and let me know if you've been able to participate in the fun and what your favorite set has been. I'm trying to think what my favorite one is. I love the peacock. I thought that was absolutely stunning, but this one is so versatile that you can use it for so many cards. That's like one of my favorite things about a stamp set, is if it's versatile or not. So it's definitely a tie for me, I think. All right, so we're going to take that gorgeous ribbon again, not cutting it from the spool yet, and making a ribbon. Not behaving like the last one did. This is a silky ribbon. There we go. Okay, so get the ribbon looking the way that you want it and then cut. Okay, and again, same with this ribbon, we're going to be using those mini dimensionals just to pop it up a little bit. And then both of these cards, just so you're aware, these are just card fronts. So what I do in my craft room is I make all card fronts, so they're not like you don't open them up into a card. And then I attach them to either a Whisper White or Very Vanilla card base that is 8.5 by 5.5. So then you fold it in half, so it's that 4 1/4 by 5.5 size. And I have those on hand, so that way I'm using less supplies until I need them. And I have a bunch of card fronts ready, and I can attach it to whatever color base I want, which I really like. So there is our card, and I hope you liked that one. That one was definitely, well, they're both beautiful, but I really love this card. So I hope you liked the projects today. Again, they are with the Happy Wishes stamp set. This is free when you spend $100 on my 24/7 online store. And it will only be available till the end of March, so you definitely don't want to miss it. Make sure you check out my Amazon links down below for some of the products that are my favorites, and go over to my blog down below for dimension details and also supply details off my Stampin' Up store for these cards so that you can make them alongside me at home. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Make sure to go over to the wonderlandstamper.com, hit that red subscribe button, and hit the bell so you don't miss any more of my Stampin' Sundays or 30-second Thursdays. Thanks again for watching. For now, keep stampin', Stampers. Bye.